Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. Welcome to all of our viewers. I'm so glad to see so many of you with us, a lot of familiar faces, some new ones. So welcome to all of you. We have an exciting talk for today. We have with us an esteemed guest, Melissa Barker, and she'll be talking about dragging genealogy information out of your family members. Not an easy thing, as I see somebody in the comments here has already pointed out. Patty wrote, "This is a huge challenge. Most just aren't interested or don't want to share." So it's true, there are challenges involved, and that's why we're all here today, hopefully to get some hints and tips that'll help us learn more about getting that information out of our ancestors, especially as the holidays creep up on us pretty soon. Which brings me to my next point, which is that I know that a lot of people are going to be celebrating the holidays a little bit differently this year in 2020, a little bit different than most years. So that's what we want to hear about today for your chance to win, for our draw today. Tell us how you're still going to stay close with family this year, despite the challenges wherever you are in the world. How are you going to make sure to stay close with them, stay in touch, be with one another, however that is, whether it be virtually. So please let us know in the comment section. And one lucky winner today will receive a MyHeritage complete plan. The complete plan on MyHeritage is the best plan that we have to offer. It offers you free and unlimited access to 12.7 billion historical records, unlimited family tree size, access to all of our photo tools on MyHeritage. If you're not familiar with our photo tools, we have the MyHeritage Photo Enhancer, as well as MyHeritage in Color. Fantastic, fantastic tools, especially now at this time of year. Dig out all those old holiday photos and colorize and enhance them, send them around to your family members. It's really, it'll be a great surprise for everybody. So one lucky winner will win a MyHeritage complete plan. So please leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us how you're making an effort to stay in touch with your family and remain close this year. And we'll be doing that after the comments, after the questions today, at the end of today's session. In addition, I want to let you know about a few sales that we have going on at MyHeritage. We have the MyHeritage Holiday DNA Sale, which ends today. Great deal on MyHeritage DNA kits, and we'll be putting a link in the comment section for you to access that. Today is the last day, I believe, for standard shipping in the US to make it in time for Christmas. So now's your chance. Take advantage of this fantastic sale. In addition, we have the MyHeritage gift membership. It's something new that's being offered this year. Gift memberships on the MyHeritage Complete plan that I described earlier. You can either purchase this 6-month or a 1-year plan for a loved one, family member, friend. A great, great gift, and it gets delivered by email. So no delivery problems there in time for the holidays. So we'll put a link to that as well in the comments section. So now I just want to introduce our speaker. We have with us Melissa Barker. She's a certified archives manager and public historian. She's currently working at the Houston County, Tennessee Archives, and she's known in the genealogy world as the archive lady. We love having her on our show. It's not our first time, and it's always, always a pleasure. So let's all give a warm welcome to Melissa. Hello.
Hello, Esther. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, and getting ready to give this presentation, and I think it's going to really help a lot of people.
Fantastic, fantastic. I know that growing up, I always found it difficult to get that information from my grandparents about their lives, and I would love to hear some more advice. And I know that everyone in the audience also would love to hear more.
Oh, it's like one of the list people who are watching said, it's so hard to talk to our family members who are not interested in genealogy. But if you use some of these tips and tricks, and some of them are kind of tricks, that I think you'll get them talking, and they won't even know that they're giving information that you can use for your genealogy. So, how about let's get started? I can share my screen.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's see.
Can you see that okay?
There we go.
Oops. Okay. All right, Esther, I'm going to get started then. We're talking about dragging genealogy information out of your family members. Now, like we said, many of our family members are just not interested in genealogy. They just did not get that bug like we did. And we can understand why. When we talk to them, their eyes roll back in their head. They tell you, oh, I don't want to talk about that, or I don't have anything to tell you. I can't remember anything. And so this is going to show you some really cool tools that you can use to try to get your family members talking. Now, this year is interesting, isn't it? We are in a difficult, to some, and a different situation. And so this presentation was geared towards when you get together with your family members. But there is absolutely no reason why you can't take these tips I'm going to show you and use it when you have a virtual family get together. Many of us are probably going to do that this year, especially at Christmas time, New Year's, and it may extend into the next year. And so whenever you're getting with your family members, think about what we're going to talk about today and use this to your advantage, and to get your family members talking. So all of us have family gatherings. We've had them in the past, and we're going to have them again when we all physically get together. This year, it may not be a physical get together, but you may be doing things virtually through an online platform. That's okay. That is perfectly wonderful. You could still talk to your family members about genealogy using some great tips and tricks that I'm going to show you. Throughout my presentation, you're going to see some photographs that I like to throw in there. I'm a visual learner, and so I like to throw things that are visual in for people to see. The photograph there on the left is a photo from the Houston County, Tennessee Archives. It is an unknown photo. We do not know who is in this photo, but it looks like a family gathering, doesn't it? And so you see food on the table and the lawn chairs there, so they've gotten together for some sort of an event. The photo on the right is actually a Burcham family reunion. This is my husband's family. The lady there in the middle, her maiden name is Burcham. Her name is Ruth. The gentleman on the right is my husband's father, and the gentleman on the left is a cousin. My husband's family is very musical, so you see that they're all playing instruments. I can tell you that Ruth Burcham there in the middle actually tried out for the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. I actually have the guitar that she tried out with. And so when our family members get together, whether it's just one or two at a time, or it is a huge family reunion, we as genealogists need to be prepared to talk to them about family. So all of us have uncooperative relatives, don't we? We all have them. And those are usually probably the ones that we need to get the information out of. And so sometimes you're going to hear statements from these uncooperative relatives like, why do you want to know all that stuff about our family? When you start asking questions, they kind of sit back and go, wait a minute, why do you want to know all that? And so maybe they're saying, I can't remember anything. Don't ask me. Go ask somebody else. Go ask our cousin. Go ask Aunt Linda. Don't ask me because I don't know anything. Well, once you institute some of these tactics I'm going to show you today, you're going to find that many of our relatives know more than they think they know. There are things up in their minds and in their hearts and in their memories that they don't realize that they know, or don't realize that it's part of the family history. How about we just didn't talk about it? I would get that a lot from the elderly people in our family. We just didn't talk about it. And really, in reality, it was true. When events happened, they just didn't talk about it. It happened, they dealt with it, and they moved on. So they just didn't talk about it. Well, what's our job is to try to get them to talk about it. What if you are the lone genealogist? You are the only one in your family that is doing your family history. I am that. I am my lone genealogist and my family. This picture here is of a volunteer that we had at the Houston County, Tennessee Archives, Miss Ann Sykes. She was the only person in her family that did genealogy as well. So don't feel daunted by the fact that you are the only one in the family doing this. I praise you for doing your family genealogy and being the only one that does it, because you're going to be the reason why your family's history is not lost and is not forgotten. Statistics say that it only takes about 2 generations for a family story, a family history to go by the wayside and to be totally forgotten. And so, as genealogists, we need to keep that fire burning and we need to keep our stories going. Are you the keeper of the family history? Are you the one that has all the records? Are you the one that a family member calls you and says, "We've been cleaning out the attic and we found this box of photographs. Do you want them? We know that you collect that kind of stuff. Do you want it?" That's me too. I get all the family stuff from family. I actually had a cousin of mine send me a box in the mail. He did not tell me it was coming. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm sending you something." It just showed up in the mail, and he had dumped a bunch of pictures in there out of some of his family photographs that he got from his mom, which was my aunt. He sent a little letter saying, "I ran across these, thought you would like them, so here you go." I was grateful to get them, but it's just funny how our family members look at things. He didn't think much of them. He just threw them in a box and threw it through the mail, and I got it. Thankfully, I got them. He knew I did this. And so, knowing and telling your family members you're doing your genealogy, you are collecting and preserving your family's history. Let them know that, so that when they run across things in their attics and their basements and the bottom of their closets, they don't throw it away. They'll send it to you. Preserving your family history is entirely up to you alone. Don't feel like you're alone, because you know what? There are many genealogists out there doing the same thing. I would encourage you to get on Facebook, to be part of a local historical or genealogical society. Meet up with some of these people that are doing the same thing. They may not be researching your family, but they're researching their family. And it's always nice to have friends that you can talk to about your journey preserving your history. My Heritage is absolutely wonderful about bringing genealogists together. These Facebook Lives that they do, you should go back and look at some of the ones that they've already recorded, and in the future watch some more of the ones that they do live, because it brings us as genealogists together and makes us one big family. Your efforts are important. Don't let anyone tell you that they're not, especially your family members. Sometimes our family members can make us feel like that our genealogy and the work that we do is not that important, that who cares about it? Well, you know what? In about 100 years, you're going to have some descendants that are going to really be glad that you did what you did. Because you may be the only genealogist in your family, but believe me, someone down the line is going to pick up the bug and they're going to carry on what you have started. And so always remember that what you're doing is important. So getting information out of our family members can be difficult. And so what I usually tell genealogists is that you have to be sneaky about it, but you have to be nice about it. Being confrontational will get you nowhere. And so what I'm going to show you today, some of the things are a little bit kind of sneaky, but you know what? It's going to be fun, and you're going to be very surprised by what you can get out of your family members. Again, your family members know more than what they know, and you're going to prove that by using some of these tips and tricks. To get them started talking, and then they may not be able to quit. I have seen this. Even these family members that say, "I don't have anything. I can't remember anything. Don't talk to me. Talk to somebody else." If you can use some of these tactics, getting them talking, I find that sometimes I can't get them to quit, which is wonderful. That means more information for us. As the family genealogist and family historian, it's our job to get whatever information out of our family members that we can, no matter how small the information is. Maybe it is some information that actually creates more questions and more research you have to do. That's okay. At least they've given you that much. And so don't ever discount any size piece of information that you can get from your family members. Use whatever prompts that you can to accomplish getting this information. Many times, just walking up to your family members and directly asking them questions is not the right way to do things because they are totally going to shut down. They're going to give you that eye roll and they're going to say, nope, nope, I don't know anything. And so we need to use some things to our advantage to help us get this information. And so what we're going to talk about today are these things. We're going to use visuals. Like I said, I'm a visual learner. I like to hold things and see things. If you hand me an instruction book, I'm usually no good. I actually have to do something to learn it. So maybe if you use visuals with your family members, that will help them and jog their memories, help them to remember things they couldn't remember before. And so one of the first things is family photographs. I put that first because they seem to be the most useful. They seem to trigger memories in my family faster than anything else. And so if you have family photographs, or if some of your family members have family photographs that they're necessarily in your possession, maybe you can talk to them about those photographs. And I'm going to give you a little tips and tricks about how to talk to them about photographs. This photo here is actually one of my photographs, my family, the Christian Barth family. And so I have actually used this photograph to get some of my family members talking. Home movies. Maybe you are fortunate enough to have home movies. Right now, I've got some 8mm home movies that I need to get digitized. But a few years ago, I actually got a hold of a machine that played them. I got a screen to show it on, and I sat my family down and we watched these old home movies. Now, these old home movies from when my parents were teenagers and they had their parties and different things that were happening. But we sat and we watched these home movies, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on doing that. Family recipes. You know, we're in the midst of the holidays and it's all about food, isn't it? Well, you would be surprised the smells and the tastes of food can really bring back memories in our family members. So I'm going to show you how to use recipes to get that information. Handmade artifacts. Many of our ancestors and our family members are very talented in a lot of different ways. And one of those ways, maybe they made things. This particular picture here is some picture of some wood carvings that one of my husband's ancestors, Mr. Clarence Stringfield, made. He is actually a very well-known wood carver, and actually some of examples of his work is in the Smithsonian. How about talking about historical or local events? Now, that could be, historical events nationally or even locally. And so using these events, and this isn't even genealogy, you can just bring them up and talk about them, and they'll not even know that they're talking about family history or genealogy. They just think that they're talking to you about something that happened that they remembered. And so this is another thing that we can use. And family traditions. Family traditions are in every family. And if you don't talk about them, if you don't record them and preserve them, they're going to be lost to time. And so we're going to talk about that too. So let's go back to the beginning. We're going to talk about some family photographs. Almost all of us have family photographs. Whether you have a few photographs or if you have boxes and boxes of them. We have photographs. So why not use these photographs to jog the memory of your family members at your next gathering? Now, like we said, right now things are different. And so at your next gathering, that may be a Zoom meeting or it may be a FaceTime meeting. That's okay. You can still share photographs during those meetings. You don't have to be in person. This photo right here is actually of my husband's grandparents, Lanny and Ruth Barker from the 1940s. I love this photograph because his grandfather looks kind of like a gangster and they've got that wonderful old car. But using photographs could be your best source to get your family members talking. It's not, you're not coming right at them and saying, hey, I'm looking for genealogy information. You're showing them photographs. You're showing them family photographs that maybe they've seen before. Maybe they haven't seen them before. But it's fun. It's something fun and entertaining that you can do with your family members. When you're showing them photographs, this is the tactic that I use. Do not point to the people in the photograph and say, who are they? If you do that, you're going to probably get them already off track, because if they don't know who they are, then they won't look at anything else in the photograph, or they'll just discount the photograph as one of, I don't know who those are, I don't know what this is about, and I'm done. So don't start with the people in the photograph. Start with other stuff in the photograph, such as the buildings, the cars, the animals. Maybe there's animals in the photograph. But ultimately, you want to ask the questions and you want to find information about who, what, when, and where about the photograph. One of the projects that I did several years ago is I took a photograph. I took with my family members. I asked them first for permission, and I started on January the 1st. And I told them, I'm going to send you a photograph by email, which was great because they could do this at their leisure. It wasn't, I'd have to sit them down to do it. They could do it anytime they wanted to. So each day of that year, 365 days of that year, I sent my family members a photograph. And in the email, I said, please look at this photograph. Tell me anything you can think of about this photograph. Tell me anything about the people. Tell me if you know where this photograph was taken. Tell me where it was taken and what maybe was the event that it was taken. And I did this for an entire year. Now, my family are not necessarily into genealogy. They love to hear the stories when I find out information, but they're not that much into genealogy. They absolutely loved having a photograph showing up in their email every day for that entire year. At the end of the year, when I stopped, I had several of my family members tell me, hey, we need to do that again. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. And so that's another thing that you might try. Again, do not start with the people in the photo, but start with the background. Talk about the weather that was in the photograph. Talk about the buildings that were behind the people. And I guarantee you that's going to get them talking about all kinds of things. And then you may even come back around and then they'll realize that they know who the people are. Here are some photographs that I have used with some of my family members. The one on the left is actually a photo from my husband's family. This is Cody Cosby Burcham on the right, and Alan Daniel Burcham on the left. This is from the 1950s. This was taken in downtown Erin, which is in Houston County, Tennessee. I have taken this photograph and I have talked to many of his family members about this photograph. And when I would talk to them about it, I would ask them first about the building. And immediately they knew what the building was because a lot of my husband's family still live here and grew up here. And immediately they recognized the building because that's the Mitchum's drugstore. And that drugstore is actually still here today. And so that we get them talking about the drugstore, and then they would talk about things that maybe happened in town that they remembered. And then they would come back around to the people in the photograph and we would talk about them. The one at the top there on the right is the Barker home. It is no longer there, but this is the home that my husband's grandparents built and lived in almost their entire lives. And so as you can imagine, there's a lot of stories, a lot of memories that happened in that home. I have shown this to my father-in-law, and all it is a picture of his home where he grew up. And I just showed it to him, and I would ask him, I'd say, how many times did you sit out on that porch? Or what do you remember about, because this is at a very busy four-way stop. And I said, what do you remember about, it's called Grace Crossing. I said, what do you remember about Grace Crossing? What do you remember some memories there? And once he got started talking, all I had to do is sit back and listen and take notes. Because once he told one story, that led him to another story and then to another story. And so sometimes a photograph can really jog those memories. The photograph at the bottom is a very old photograph from the 1930s. It is a photograph of my great aunt Josephine on the left and my grandmother Agnes Curtis on the right. I actually used this photograph to talk to my father about my grandmother, which was his mother, and her siblings. And I really got a lot of great information. Now, the information you're going to get is going to be from your family members. Some of it's going to be family lore. Some of it's going to be information that you're not going to find necessarily in a document, but it's information that is part of your family history, and we need to document it. Here's another couple of great photographs. These two photographs are of my grandfather, Forrest Cecil Bartram. The first one there on the left is from when he was in the military during World War II. This is from the 1940s. As you can see, is in his uniform. And then on the one on the right, which I really got a lot of great information from my family on, this is from Rice Lake in Canada. My family lived in Ohio, and every summer they would visit Rice Lake in Canada for their family vacations. And so this is from actually 1967. As you can see, he really brought in a lot of fish that day. But I've used these photographs, especially the one from Rice Lake, for them to talk about and jog their memories about their vacations every year they would take. And so my grandfather and my grandmother had 4 children. My mother, my aunt, and I have 2 uncles. And so as they talked about these photographs, it brought up a tremendous amount of memories. Excuse me. And I was able to document those memories, each and every one. Some more photographs. The one on the left there is a photo of Lou Tennessee Burnine Sanders and Lucy Burnine Sanders. It's undated, but it's a photograph of their spinning wheel. And I have shown this to some of the Burnine family, and they were able to give me some information about the ladies and the home place there. And I've actually showed it to some craftspeople because I was interested in knowing what kind of spinning wheel this was. And so I've been able to get some great information on that aspect of the photograph as well. The photo on the right is actually one of my absolute favorite photographs. It's actually a pretty rare photograph in my husband's family. My husband's family owned a store on the corner where that house I just showed you was. And I do not have any photographs of the store way back when. This is the only photograph of the store, and it's on the inside of the store, and that's my husband's grandmother. And so this is from about the 1950s. And so I get my family members to start talking about the stuff that are on the shelves, the products. There's cake mixes, there's baking powder, there's all different kinds of things on the shelves. I start out by talking about that. And you can see in the foreground there are some candy jars. When I started talking to my father-in-law about the candy jars, he lit up. He started talking about the candy jars. He moved to another story. Then he moved to another story about the store. And before I knew it, he was telling me all kinds of stories about that family store and about his parents. So photographs can be a huge, huge help in getting families to talk. Use them to your benefit. Dig them out during these holidays. And like I said, if you're meeting in person, show them the photographs. If you're meeting virtually, scan them and show them that way. Do what you need to get them out there so they can see them. Next, let's talk about home movies or slides. Many of you may have some 8mm, VHS. How many of us remember Betamax? Maybe yours are on DVD. Maybe you have photo slides that you need to convert to digital. Why not get them out? Maybe get them converted to digital so they're easy to show to your family members. But if you can't do that, maybe get the equipment needed to show these to your family members. These can be, just like photographs, these can be a fantastic way to get your family members talking. Like I said, make sure you have the equipment if you're going to show that in their original form. But I would encourage you to get them digitized. There are companies out there everywhere that are that can help you get them digitized, get those 8mm down to a digital format. They are a great use of visuals. I have 8 millimeter film where my ancestors, my mother, my father, my grandfather, my grandparents are moving. They're moving and they're in their homes, they are in the places where they lived. And so when you're showing them these to your family members, there is no telling what they're going to see that's going to jog a memory, and they're going to start telling stories. And what's great about this medium is that as they start to talk, because you sit them down, you start showing these 8 millimeter films, the VHS, the DVDs. When someone starts telling a story, you can pause it, you can stop it, listen to the story, and then start it back again. And I'm telling you, someone else in the room will have another story. So this is a great use of those visuals to try to get your family members to give you those stories, to talk about the family history. And believe me, it is a lot of fun. I would suggest that you arrange a special family gathering. Again, whether that's virtual or in person, show the home movies or slides, make it a special event. Maybe even make some food up that is some traditional foods that you usually have at holidays, or something that grandma always used to make, and have that along with the sharing of the movies or slides. Maybe it's your family gathering. Maybe it's Christmas. Maybe it was Thanksgiving. Maybe it's at someone's birthday or an upcoming Mother's Day or Father's Day. Use that time to get out the movies and get out the slides, the photographs, whatever you might have, and talk to your family members. Make it an event, make it part of the event. And then I'm telling you, they're going to want to see this maybe every time you get together. They're going to start asking you, hey, what other photographs have you found? Or do you have any more of those old home movies? Believe me, they'll tell you at first, I don't know anything, I don't care about genealogy. But once you start using these methods, they're going to start asking you, hey, you got any more of that? I want to see some more of those movies, because they'll get interested. Again, just like the photographs, when you're watching the movies or the slides, talk about the people, the places, or the objects that are in the movies or slides first. Don't talk about the people first. I mean, your family members may bring up, hey, that's Aunt Josephine, but talk about what is in the slides or the movies around them, because that's less intimidating. They don't have to be quite so specific of knowing that, and they can talk about what they think it is. Believe me, it'll come back around to the people that are there, and you'll probably get that information too. Next is something that I've used a lot as well. In fact, just recently I was talking to a cousin of mine who contacted me by Facebook Messenger and asked me if I had some recipes that my grandmother used to make that she remembered. And so I had my grandmother's recipe cards, and I was able to go through those cards and find the recipe that she was wanting. But why not use family recipes and food at your next gathering of your family members? So whenever we get together for holidays or for birthdays or family reunions, whatever case may be, there's always a common denominator, and that is food. We always have food, don't we? So why not use that to your advantage? This is one of my grandmother's old recipe cards. I have 2 or 3 boxes of recipe cards in her handwriting, and they are really precious to me. Ask your family members about recipes. Ask them about what was the favorite thing that grandma used to make that you remember. My brother and I have had this conversation recently about things that my grandparents and my parents used to make. Bring this up to them. Talk to them about those recipes. Now, I understand that talking about food and recipes is not going to get you that birth date or that marriage date or that death date, but it's going to get you so much more. It's going to give you some of that personal information that you want to preserve, because you're not going to find this in a document. Talk about who made certain recipes, who prepared them, who was that family member who always brought the 7-layered salad, who is that family member who was always late to the family gathering. The questions can go on and on. Once you get them started talking about something that isn't labeled genealogy, believe me, they're going to start talking and they're going to have a lot to say. And so be prepared to record this information. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute so that you don't forget it and you can get it recorded down into your family history. What does your family members remember about the food and recipes and the people that made them? That's going to be the genealogy connection. You're going to talk about the food, you're going to talk about the recipes, but then you're going to connect it back to the people who made these foods, who have the recipes. And then I guarantee you, you're going to start hearing your family members talk about other aspects of those ancestors other than the food that you started out talking about. Handmade artifacts. Many of our ancestors and our family members are very talented. Whether that is with something that is a textile, like an embroidered piece of material, or maybe it was your grandfather who worked with wood. My grandfather was a tinkerer. He liked to go into his garage and tinker. He would actually go to yard sales and he would buy hammerheads that did not have a wooden handle. And he would come home, go into his garage, get some wood, and he would make the wooden handles to go in those hammerheads. So whatever it is that they made, and whether or not they were known for it, or if their things are in the Smithsonian or in a museum somewhere, or if they were just remembered in the family for making them. My father passed away just this past year, and he was a wood turner. He turned wood and he made things. I have several examples of what he made. And so I'm able to talk to other family members about his talent as a wood turner. And I've also been able to document that in my genealogy records. And so handmade artifacts, especially if you have an example of it that you can show to family members, will get your family members talking, and maybe they even have an example of something that that person made that you didn't know that they had. Quilts. Many of our ancestors made quilts. Now, quilts were needed to keep warm. You know, it wasn't just something to be on display and to be pretty. They actually needed these and they made them. They were a necessary item for survival because they would keep them warm in the wintertime. So quilts may be something that maybe your grandmother made or your mother made or your great-grandmother made and have been passed down in the family. If you have some of those quilts and you're with family members,
I see that we have lost Melissa. I think she got a little bit disconnected here. I apologize for that. Hopefully she'll join back in a moment. In the meantime, I'll read out some of the nice comments that we received. Perhaps she just lost her connection. I hope that you can all see me now. And she should be joining again momentarily. It seems she just got disconnected. I apologize for that. I just thought now I could read out a few of the nice comments that we received as we're waiting for Melissa. Also, I just wanted to bring up a couple comments that she mentioned. First of all, as she said, you can rewatch any of our Facebook Lives that we've done, including a few from Melissa herself that we've done in the past, and those are all available on the MyHeritage Facebook page under the videos section. So if you go to the video section, you could see all those there. Just waiting for, oh, I don't know if you can see me. I see some comments here that you can't see me. Please let me know if it's working now. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. It looks like we still can't see me. not sure exactly what's happening. Hopefully, Melissa will rejoin now, and we'll be able to fix that. It looks like we're just having some streaming issues. Just one moment, and hopefully we can just get this sorted. Let's just try again. We're just going to hopefully work this out, and we'll be right back momentarily. Hello there. We are still waiting for Melissa to join. We are having some difficulties on this Facebook Live, just waiting for Melissa to rejoin. I see that there's still a problem with the video, still not working. Sorry, just stay with us, folks. We're just working it out. Hopefully just a moment or two, and we'll get this sorted. I see Melissa is still not back with us, so we're just trying to get her back here, and let's see if there's any luck. Just waiting here to see if she's able to rejoin. There we go. Melissa is here. Hello, Melissa.
Hey, how are you? Did you lose me there?
Yes, we're still having a little bit of difficulty. Our audience is saying that they're not able to see, that there's a black screen.
Huh.
So just trying to see if we can work out the video. It looks like there's still a little bit of a difficulty. One moment. I think we're still not seeing us on the screen, even though they can hear us.
Okay.
Still no video. Yeah, not exactly.
Is that on your end or my end, or do you know?
I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think it's some sort of connection problem. So you know what? We're just going to start again. We're going to end this broadcast, and I hope that you can all join on the new one, and hopefully the video will have sorted out there. So we'll just try one more moment. Please rejoin on our Facebook page, the new Facebook Live, and we'll start again. So we'll see you all there in a moment.